All right. So, welcome to the Dcom debate. I don't even know what episode this is anymore. Um,
We're,
but
we're
yeah,
getting in there. We're getting pretty far in.
yeah, we are. We're almost halfway through the first round of this bracket that we made. Um, but today we are talking about Quints versus Motocrossed. Um,
I mean, I'm back in motocross on this one today,
yeah, I'm backing Quince.
and I'm happy to be back in motocross in this matchup here. See, we have motocross here, which is interesting story of dirt biking, extreme motocross, and androgyny. this this movie is about a set of three brothers. The oldest brother is trying out for some. He's gonna be in a tournament for dirt biking, and the father is owns like some kind of dirt biking company type thing. What is it, like a parts and stuff
Yeah, it's
type
just
thing?
like a motocross, like a Moto X
Yeah.
store. Like, yeah,
So they're just trying to help out their sponsorship. And anyway, the brother gets injured. The sister goes in to take his spot in the tournament against the father's wishes. And she ends up. So she goes to take his spot, but what's the exact reason that she has to dress up like her brother?
I think it's because I can't, again, it's been a little while since I've even watched this movie now. I think it was like the either like no girls or the brother got hurt, right? And
I think they were thinking like if she entered as a girl, she'd be like a target. And
either like that or like she would be disqualified. I think the whole thing was like be disqualified, and so the yeah, so she cuts her hair and fills in for her twin brother because they look so much alike. Um,
that's yeah. So this is classic decom fashion here, in which we're going. You have to use your imagination for this movie, and while she's taking her brother's place, she very much looks like herself with short hair and not like her brother. That's and we can get a side by side for this to it's kind of funny too. For some reason, she's like tanner as a boy too. She like tans up, and she kind of looks like orange and has like this white hair going on, like because her hair is so, like the contrast between her.
yeah,
It's
yeah, they
so.
definitely spray tanned her a little bit.
Oh my gosh, that scene in the shop in the dirt bike shop, you know, when he's getting the new boots.
I honestly don't even remember.
Oh my gosh, yes, yeah. So he it's it's pretty it was unbearable to watch. I'm not gonna lie.
But
um, it was like a thing where like the first she walks in as Andy, and 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 then goes to grab something from another spot, but then the actual Andy walks in, and it's just like this whole thing, and then the mom comes in. It's this whole like confusion of like, no, I said I wanted the boots because she was buying boot. Oof, oof. The movie's tough to describe because of
It's a
how
weird movie. It's a weird movie. Um,
ambitious though.
it yeah yeah I
I'd say
guess so.
ambitious.
Um, I mean I will say up front neither of these movies are very great. Um,
You don't think either of these have a chance at winning?
no, I think um, you know I would say that these two, You Wish and 13th Year, are probably the bottom of the barrel for the movies that we've picked
Oh well, yeah,
here.
and Wendy Wu. Don't
And
forget.
Wendy Wu. I keep forgetting about Wendy Wu. But neither of these movies are very good. I will say that Quints is is a vibe. There's something about Quints that it's a pretty quiet movie despite its plot being about an older sister having to deal with her quintuplet brothers and sisters that are just born. Um, but it's a relatively quiet movie. Stars Marnie, Kimberly J. Brown from Halloween Town.
So
Um,
I'm gonna have to cut you off on the quiet portion of this movie because it is quiet at its most at in a boring level. But when it's not quiet, it sounds like it brought me back to that episode of Drake and Josh where like they have to babysit and you just hear the baby crying throughout the entire episode. Like it's just like it's
no,
like
it's not that
it's
bad.
literally like a press a button baby cry, but like they put five baby cries at once.
It is not that bad.
and
It's not
and
that bad.
that is like if you are like just like
No, they're able to
slightly
make
in
it
and out of the
comical.
movie.
They're able to make it comical and not because again, a movie about quintuplets is sort of like it can get very grating very fast, and they do a good job. I think if in a movie like this, you can either go a little bit maybe too boring or a little bit too obnoxious and loud. I'm glad that they went the more kind of boring, quiet route because if they had gone the route like probably any other Disney movie would, this movie would have given me a headache in the first like 20 minutes. This movie is so chill. This movie is just it when I say it's a vibe, I mean it's literally a movie that like you can just put on and just you can either pay attention to it and it's got a pretty nice story. It's not really crazy or it's pretty straightforward. It's just
Do you
I have
think?
quintuplets and I'm an artist and I'm gonna draw my brothers and sisters. That's
Do you
pretty much
think?
all it is.
Cut.
All right, we're back.
So I have to ask: do you think the relationship between Kimberly J. Brown's character and her teacher was appropriate? Don't you think that was like a weird little like bit of like favoritism where it like crosses a boundary of like student teacher relationship?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if I were a student and I saw my art, was he an art teacher? Was he a science teacher? What
I
was
don't know.
he?
She was. I know she was doing art. Yeah, maybe it was a science teacher because she was a science
But
teacher.
yeah, if I was a student in those classes and I saw just the amount of attention he was giving her, I'd be like, hey, did anyone vet this guy before we hired him?
Yeah.
Like, can we make sure this guy's not like on like a list or something?
It gave me
Um,
election vibes. You ever see the movie Election?
with Matthew Broderick?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, a little bit of election vibes.
kind of. Yeah,
Wasn't
it was definitely creepy. I don't know if I feel like on paper it's a lot different. Like I feel like it's a lot more of like, oh, this is a really nice teacher who cares. I feel like the actor who portrays him, no offense, but gives off like super just creepy vibes.
Yeah, I think that might have been the case.
Yeah.
It might have been a poor casting choice
Yeah.
in that
Um
area.
but yeah, so again,
Who's
I
the
don't I
the
don't
man?
fault the movie.
Who's the manager again? Wasn't he in another movie? Like
Yeah,
that dude that comes in and he's all like,
yeah,
"I'm
the
gonna
guy
make you rich."
yeah, the guy who wants them to sell like the diapers or whatever. He was also the manager in Famous Jet Jackson. He
He
was
I
Famous Jet
he
Jackson's
was my
manager.
I would say he was my favorite role
He's
in the
playing like the
Quints
same
movie.
role.
Yeah, I felt like he was like the most like I'm like, oh, he's a punchable bad guy, and like I actually got that punchable bad guy feeling from him.
Yeah.
Uh, Something weird in motocross. I think I just should point out. I thought it was so while she's at this what's it called, like an invitational, is that what it is, like for the motocross meetup thing, it's like an invitational. So while she's at this invitational, she scores very poorly in her first race, and the first race was like pretty painful to watch. I remember watching the first race, and she like is about to get lapped, and then she's racing the person that's lapping them, and if like I guess it's like motocross etiquette to like move off to the side if you're like about to get lapped, you know what I mean? Because there's no point in racing the person that's if you're if you're already like dead last, you shouldn't be, you should just be out of the way. But she's like still trying to race, so she clearly like doesn't get that portion of it. But either way, she's not doing too well, and um, but the guys take notice that she's good with the ladies because they think she's a he, so they're thinking that she's good with the ladies or he's good with the ladies. This is where it gets confusing and really hard to describe what's going on here. But yeah, and anyway, this she trades getting motocross help from another racer, who in return wants help getting some other girl's attention. But while this happens, they start falling for each other. We're talking our female role, what is her name? Andrea, and this other racer. And
So I'm just gonna cut you off
oh yeah,
because you know why motocross is not really not good. It's definitely, if it does win this episode, it is not going to win the debate in total. Like, I think we can both agree that there are so many better movies that are going to wash the floor. But there is a movie that, like Motocrossed, has a very almost beat for beat plot, just a different sport, that does this way better. Do you know what movie that is?
no, I can't.
Stars Amanda Bynes.
Oh, what? She's the man. She's the man. Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It is pretty similar,
it's
huh?
almost exactly the same.
Which one
It's her
came out
twin,
first?
Motocrossed.
Motocross came out
Yeah.
first.
I saw,
Wow.
yeah, I remember seeing She's the Man, but She's the Man is a comedy. She's the Man is better. The Amanda Bynes and the guy who plays, I think it's supposed to be her brother, look they look more like twins. Um
I love the way Andrea looks in this movie, though. It's
there's
so.
there's a lot more of like they do a lot more of like the comedic stuff that you can do with the gender swapped sort of movies like this. Motocross isn't, it's not really that funny. Um it's not, and if we're going on sort of the action stuff, the actual like dirt bike stuff, action sports, extreme sports, there's movies that we're going to be talking about that do the extreme sports stuff better.
They might do it better, but I will say that this is also, you and I are two men in our late 20s here, and this might be, from a woman's standpoint, a more powerful movie. Being that the other extreme sports movies that are involved in the DComs are, the ones that we're thinking of course, are Johnny Tsunami and Brink. However, motocross, it does show a woman overcome the odds and
I guess,
and
but if you
win,
would
and she
want to
because she
go,
wins, right? She wins. It's a yeah. At the end, she ends up winning. There's a whole weird side
if
story with the European guy. Do
if
you know what guy I'm talking
I'm
about?
just gonna say, if we're about to be two cis white men talking about women's empowerment, I think there's other movies on here that are
Then
more empowering. I can't even say that for women than fucking a movie where a girl has to pretend to be her brother to get respect.
yes, but that's the
She
whole
has to pretend to be a man. There's movies like Double Teams. There's even
yeah.
Wendy Wu shows more respect to
Yes, she
women.
has to, but by the end of it, though, but by the end of it, they do know that she is a woman because she has to come clean, and they still give her the win and everything because big happy ending at the end.
Still
But
think that's a bad argument for two cis white men to be
hey,
to try and go for it because
hey,
there are better. Cadet Kelly is a movie that is a lot more about
I mean, possibly Quints while we're at
Quints. Yeah,
it.
Quints is a lot more about this girl finding herself and
I don't
finding
know,
what
but
she
this
loves to
movie.
do.
Oh, I want to start keeping track of any wrestling references that are made in DComs, and there is one wrestling reference made in Motocrossed. She says something about giving somebody the smackdown. Oh, the European guy. Yeah, he's like if he talks to me like that again, he's getting the smackdown or something along those lines. But yeah, the European guy was a good villain. I thought he did a good job of being a villain. Very punchable.
Yeah.
Maybe even more punchable than the manager from Quints.
Yeah, I mean Quince. It doesn't even the manager from Quince doesn't feel like the quote unquote bad guy of the movie. Exactly, he just feels like a shitty
Yeah.
person.
And he helps them
Um,
out too, though. I mean, in a way,
yeah,
because they were really struggling at
well,
first.
yeah, like again, like Quince is a movie that doesn't is more of a again, it's just a vibe, man. You're just there along the way.
I hate,
Same thing with the movie that I'm gonna be arguing next week. It's just a vibe.
I hate, I hate the breaking of fourth wall in Quints. For
Really,
some
I actually
reason,
kind of like that.
that really bothers me.
I
It
kind of
makes
like
it
because
feel
they
less
kept
like
it
a
throughout the
movie.
movie, but they kept it throughout the movie, which I liked.
Yeah, I mean, it was consistent, but I feel like it makes it less movie. I felt like it made it more like TV show, but like
So, are you not a Deadpool fan?
no, I'm
No.
not. I'm not really. I don't really watch too many superhero movies. I don't really watch many movies. Fun
Do you
facts.
do you,
This is kind of we are very deep into DComs right now. And for me, I pretty much only watch wrestling
welcome to the
exclusively.
film section, Nick.
Yeah. Not, not a huge movie guy, but I'm watching 32 DComs in about 2 months. So.
Yeah. Well, as someone that does watch a lot of movies, um, the fourth wall thing is, I mean, a lot of really good. I mean, are you like, have you ever seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Yeah.
And that
That's
has
I.
a lot of fourth wall
He
breaking.
does break the fourth wall in the lot, but Fitness just done so well, though. I don't know.
So are you just saying that like it's executed poorly
Yeah,
in
I think
Quince?
I guess that's more so. I didn't like her way of doing it, I suppose.
It does feel it. Her way of breaking the fourth wall almost has like a documentary kind of style to it.
Yeah,
Where I guess yeah, like it's less winking at the camera like in Ferris Bueller, and
yeah,
more of like kind of like True Confessions, where um, she was literally talking into a camera. But
yeah.
yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I think it's tough to say which one is better, which one is worse, because one, they are pretty different, but we're gonna run into that a lot when we get into like the second round of these. But I think Quince is a better movie because there's no weird sexism kind of going on.
I mean, hey, I'm
Um,
cutting that off right away. I don't think this
there,
movie. I don't think this movie was sexist. It exposes sexism. This movie.
I think Quince is a more chill movie. I think it's an easier movie to watch. Um, Again, is it boring? Yeah. Is it gonna win in the end? Fuck no. But either of these two movies, I'm just gonna say, are probably going down in the second round. So,
Who
but
knows, dude? They could face 13th Year or something, or You Wish. I'd take Motocrossed over You Wish or 13th Year for sure. I'm again right
uh,
down just to
honestly, you
I
made an argument in the 13th year episode that upon rewatch, obviously when this episode comes out, 13th year will have already been out for a couple of weeks. But um, so 13th year won. But so 13th year is going to round two.
okay.
If Motocrossed or Quints goes up against 13th year, we're going to see 13th year go to round three because one argument that you said was 13th year is just so fucking weird that like you can watch it. Quince is kind of weird. Quince has like a weird, quirky quality to it that I can appreciate on some level. The artwork that they show, that Kimberly J. Brown is definitely not drawing, but the artwork that they're showing is really cool. It's got some funny stuff. I think his name is Daniel Roebuck. He plays her dad, and he's awesome. Um, yeah, I mean, Quince versus Motocross, I would say Quince is just, it's a little bit better. I think Motocross has a story that's been done before or has been done since and has been done better. I think Motocross is a movie that put against a lot of other movies, especially even on our bracket, is just not going to hold up.
I'm taking motocross. I mean, I'm sticking with motocross on this one, and I think that I mean throughout the movie, you get those basic extreme rock songs that's
Extreme.
generic. You get the you get the generic extreme rock like stuff throughout. Sound like wrestler theme songs. You get the wrestling reference. You get that Rhea Ripley androgyny thing going on when she's dressed as she's dressed as her brother throughout the whole thing, falling in love with a dude who kind of looks like her brother. The movie's a trip. The movie's a trip, and I'd say it's worth watching. It's well worth watching over points, unless
Well,
you want to hear babies cry for an hour and a
that
half.
is not what happens. But we are going to need you guys to vote. So follow us on TikTok at the Dcom debate. Take the polls. Ask us questions at what are your favorite DComs. Next week we are covering two more obscure DComs, movies that I feel like some people might even argue are not DComs, or like maybe aren't. I don't know. It's kind of weird. The timeline is very shifty, but we are arguing Punks versus the Paper Brigade. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week.
Right?